Welcome everyone, or should I say welcome potential foes. Tonight we are diving headfirst into a world of suspicion, shaky alliances, and of course, cold-blooded betrayal. You've seen the show, right? Well now, it's your turn to play. So let's break down exactly how you can survive, scheme, and maybe, just maybe, win the Traitors card game.
Look at this! This isn't just a fun little tagline. It is the single most important rule of the entire game. It's the whole philosophy, boiled down to 5 brutal words. Keep this tucked away in the back of your mind with every single card you play and every promise you make.
So what's the point of all this? It's simple. It is all about the gold. Your one and only goal is to finish the game with the biggest pile of coins. And how do you do that? Well, by surviving, by cooperating, and by knowing the perfect moment to turn on your allies. And here we go. This is the heart of it all. To even build up a prize pot worth fighting for, you have to work together as a team of faithfuls. But, and it's a big but, hidden among you are the traitors, just biding their time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. So, are you one of them? Or is one sitting right next to you, smiling?
Okay, before any of the real backstabbing can begin, we've got to set the stage. Let's quickly run through this setup. Don't worry, it's super fast and easy, designed to get you right into the action. First things first, grab something to keep score. Then, find the special betrayal and faithful cards and just set them aside for now. Trust me, you'll need those later for the big showdown. Next, you build the main deck, and this changes based on how many people are playing. Shuffle it up and deal 3 cards to everybody. And for the final touch, you're going to secretly shuffle the knight cards into whatever's left of the deck, and then take the last knight card and stick it right at the very bottom. Think of that card as a little time bomb, just waiting to go off.
Now, that point about player count is really important. The rules tell you exactly which cards to use, depending on whether you've got 4, 5, or 6 players. And this isn't just to be fussy. It's all carefully calculated to keep the game balanced and make sure the tension is always cranked up to 11, no matter who's at the table.
All right, the trap is officially set. Now let's talk about what you actually do when it's your turn. You'll see the gameplay itself is incredibly simple, but the choices you're going to have to make? Yeah, those are anything but.
This is the core of the game right here. On your turn, you do 2 things, and only 2 things. You draw 1 card from the deck, and then you must play 1 card from your hand. That's it. You can't pass, you can't just hoard cards. Every single turn, you are forced to make a move.
So what card will you play? Well, a lot of the time, you'll be playing these, gold coin cards. When you play one, it goes face up right in the middle of the table, creating this big, shared treasure hoard that everyone is working together to build. It's the proper, faithful thing to do. Or, at least that's what you want everyone to think you're doing.
But hey, you're not here to make friends, you're here to win, right? Well, if you play a treasure chest card, you get to start your own little private stash right in front of you. On later terms, you can add gold to this chest instead of the shared pile. Any gold in here is yours and yours alone, assuming, of course, no one steals it. It's a fantastic way to bank some points, but it also paints a huge target right on your back.
Look, playing nice and building up your own little stash is one way to play, but this is the traitors we're talking about. Sometimes you've got to be a little more direct. So how do you really get an edge on everyone else? With a dagger, that's how. When you play this card, you pick a player and you get to steal from them. If they happen to have one of those personal treasure chests, you can take any 1 card from it, and you're obviously hoping for a high-value gold coin. If they don't have a chest, no problem, you just take a random card from their hand instead. It is a bold, aggressive move, and it will absolutely make you an enemy.
Collecting gold is one thing, but just surviving is a whole other challenge. As that deck gets smaller and smaller, the tension just keeps rising, because you know that mixed into that deck are the night cards. And when night falls, that's when the traitors get to work.
So let's picture it. You're in the middle of a game, things are getting tense, and on your turn, you flip over this card. What happens next? Well, this is where the game takes its most dramatic and dangerous turn. The second a knight card is drawn, everything stops. The regular turn is over. This is a special event. The player who drew the card basically gets to ask the table, does anyone want to attempt a murder? And only one kind of player can say yes.
If a player is holding a traitor card in their hand, this is their moment. They can reveal it and choose any other player at the table to murder. That victim is immediately eliminated from the round, unless they happen to be holding a shield card. If they have a shield, they can play it right away to cancel the murder, and the game goes on. But if there's no shield, that player is out.
Their cards are discarded, and all they can do is sit and watch as the survivors continue the hunt for the gold.
This all continues, the scheming, the stealing, the murders, until the inevitable happens. Remember that last night card we put at the very bottom of the deck? Well, once it's drawn, the round ends. Instantly. No more daggers, no more murders. It is time for the final reckoning.
And this, my friends, brings us to the most iconic, nerve-wracking moment of the entire game. If 2 or more players manage to survive the night, they have to face the traitor's dilemma to decide what happens to that big pile of gold sitting in the middle of the table.
Here's how it works. Every player who survived gets one of each of these cards, a faithful card and a betrayal card. You secretly choose one to play. As you can see, choosing faithful is a vote to be kind, to share the gold. But choosing betrayal, that's a ruthless attempt to take every last coin for yourself.
And the outcome is just brilliant. If you all choose faithful, fantastic. You're all rewarded and you split the gold evenly. If one person chooses betrayal and everyone else is faithful, the betrayer becomes a tyrant and steals everything. But, and this is the real kicker, if you both choose betrayal, your greed backfires spectacularly, and nobody gets a single coin from that pile. It's lost forever.
So, the choices have been made, the cards are revealed, and the gold has either been shared, stolen, or lost to the void. Now it's finally time to tally up the scores and see who actually came out on top this round.
Scoring is super simple. First, you add any gold you might have just won from the dilemma to your score. Then, you add all the gold you managed to stash away in your personal treasure chest. And here's a really key rule. Any players who were murdered, they get resurrected. They come right back into the game for the next round. You just play for as many rounds as you all agree on, and at the very, very end, the player with the most total gold wins it all.
And that's pretty much it. You know how to set it up, you know what to do on your turn, and you know how to win. You are officially ready to gather your friends, deal out the cards, and start your very own game of trust and treachery. But just before you go, there's one last thing you absolutely have to remember.
Always remember this final, most important rule. Look around that table. They might be smiling at you now, but when the gold is on the line, anybody can be a traitor. Good luck, you are definitely going to need it.